What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm Justin here with Meelz on this Christmas Eve recording of the show.
I don't think we've ever recorded on Christmas Eve.
I don't think I think the closest we've gotten was like the 22nd, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think we've ever recorded on Christmas Eve. Not that I recommend it or anything. Um, but
and we're doing
it's
it
a
early because we have to go do like Christmas things.
well,
So
I'm assuming you have to I'm assuming your family's opening presents today.
yes, yeah, we are going to my in-laws and we will be eating uh plenty and opening plenty tonight.
So let me understand. I'm trying to figure out how this works because usually I'm here. We open on Christmas over here.
Yeah.
Um, so what do you do on Christmas?
Well, we have a we kind of mix roles here. So, since I've been dating my or since I've been with my wife,
Yes, there you
um
go.
um sometimes I forget. Uh
No, it's okay. It's okay.
we her family does gifts on Eve. So they all we usually do like a white elephant type thing or like a they'll do like we'll do like the draw names thing where we get a name and then we got to get a gift for that person. And like you always want to get gifts from like my sister-in-law. She's like the best gift giver. Like
That's awesome.
I got her in 2020 and she got me Spider-Man Miles Morales for my PS5 and like mad other shit. I was like, yo, this is
Tapped
she's great.
in. We
She's
love we love that. We
she's
love that.
great. But this year we're I just got my brother and sister-in-law just had a baby and everything like that. So like they're kind of de-emphasizing it this year because of all of the crazy stuff that's gone on.
That's how they
Um
get you.
yeah,
Then
exactly.
wham,
Exactly.
PSP plus.
Exactly. So they do that on the 24th, but me and my wife we open the gifts to each other on the day. So like we'll go over there and then we'll come back home and then we'll actually do gift giving like traditionally, quote unquote, on the 25th.
I think my pastime is, since I don't really get gifts anymore, um, I think my pastime is going on Instagram and watching rich people with their sea of gifts. You turned on, and this is like back in the day when Cardi and Offset were together,
Yeah.
and they got like 4 Christmas trees, 9 kids, the neighbors' kids, and they're all opening whatever play set that it is, and they got like 14 of them, and then one of them gets like a Montclair, and the other one gets like a bag, like her first bag. Culture gets her first bag and something like that. I think that's kind of like what I do. If I could spend every Christmas morning with LeBron James's family, I feel like it would be a great experience.
They just seem like they just be fucking around. But
They need
I
a
like
TV show. Am I bugging? Like my
nah
wife and kids, but with LeBron James?
when he retires, he needs to make that happen. But like reality show type tip, like Amazon Prime needs to get on that. I think it would be the biggest show on whatever streaming network
I
it's
think
on.
so too, because they did. It definitely would need to be a reality show because they tried doing like the scripted show with Steph Curry that I didn't get to watch, even though they like
Absolutely,
promoted the hell out of it during the Olympics.
yeah.
I was like, Steph Curry got a show with the black girl from SNL. Okay, um, and then yeah, just never got to watch it.
No, I watch a lot of relationship YouTubers. So like me and my wife are going to be like watching to see what they got for their significant others because like these people live outside of their means. And
Hmm.
then and it's like you never question it because it's just like, "Yo, it's great. They did this for their girl or their boyfriend." But it's like one of these relationship YouTubers bought a Maybach, right? Last
Mm.
year. This year, he has the Cybertruck. And I'm like, "I know you don't still have the Maybach because if you did, you'd be in a bigger house than what you're in right now." So
Absolutely.
basically you're getting these on loan or through like a influencer type deal and you're
Right.
trading these cars in every year. Like that's what you're doing. But people don't really see through it. They like you look at the comments and like most of it might be bots. They're like, "Oh, God is blessing you guys every year." Like, I'm just like, bro, no, they're tricking you guys into
Yeah.
watching this content and making you feel shitty about yourself because you don't have these things.
Or
And
promoting a Cybertruck.
yeah, like promoting things, but also like showing you that like, oh, you're like, and they're always like, oh, we're so blessed. You know what I'm saying? Just thanking God for another year. I'm like, bro, YouTube
Stop
money
thanking
is
God for
not
that.
Yeah, like, YouTube money is not that long, alright? Like, I
Yeah,
know what YouTube money is like. It's not that long, you know what I'm saying? And,
I
like,
guess, yeah.
it's it's not, like, 20,000 views on YouTube is, like, $50, like,
Yeah.
legitimately. Like, y'all don't make that much off of this, so it's really just Spawn Con and shit that you guys are doing. So, like, it's funny to see that and laugh and be like, "Yo, like, these people are definitely struggling." You know what I'm saying? Because like, they're barely even eating correctly. They're eating fucking kava and Chipotle and shit. Fuck outta here.
What are you eating today? Do you know?
Um, my mother-in-law is actually making a big, like, meal. She's making pozole, which I talked about a month ago because I made it.
This is great. You've got great in-laws.
Yeah, I love them to death. They're making pozole, they're making, mole. I forgot the last thing she was making. She's making something else. It's gonna be bomb, though. It's gonna be great.
Nice. I love that. I think my mom's making fish, chicken, mad other Caribbean shit. But I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna eat today. Probably end up eating McDonald's or some shit like that.
Shut up.
Yeah. I'm just not gonna
Make
even
the
bother.
chicken, bruh. Make the chicken. Hashtag the chicken.
Everyone wants me to, but no. I kind of need to be alone. How about that? I'm a
Okay, well,
I'm a cooker of shame. Um,
she deserves
I need.
this.
Let me ask you this question because I said this. This is the weirdest aside. This is like coming out of nowhere because I already mentioned this to you on TikTok, and I'm not sure how you. I know how you feel about it, but I feel kind of like differently. Yo, SNL low key,
Nah, nope.
they like tapping into TikTok content. It's clearly
Yeah,
someone else is in charge of SNL, and it isn't Lauren Michaels at the end of the day, right?
it
Like
is him in charge of it. I think what he's doing is he's
he took their
allowing
foot
them
off
to
the
try
pedal a
to
little bit.
well, he's like 90, but I think it's I can definitely say that they in the past 2 or 3 episodes, they've had 1 or 2 no, Chris Rock
It's
episode
been more
notwithstanding.
than that, bro.
Chris Rock episode was trash. I've
Chris
seen
Rock
the clips
episode
from
was
that.
trash. Yeah, yeah. I didn't even bother. But like when they get a good guest and they have some good skits and they got some good funny people on there. A couple I don't really know their names to be honest with you, which maybe they can't be that funny if I don't really know their names.
Be
Um
real though, be real though. The Martin Short episode is good off the strength of Martin Short and
it's
his
Martin Short
friends.
for sure.
Yeah, like he's a former SNL guy. He's one of the few people that truly understands what makes things funny. So
Yeah.
like when I think I sent you or you sent me the road rage skit.
Yeah,
And
but
like
that
that
was
one
there was so much like physical comedy in that too, which I feel like we don't see. Really, the only person who really like does it that I see on my timeline is like Drewski. Drewski will put himself through a table for.
why has he not been invited to SNL yet? I you know what? And this is gonna sound really mean. I don't think he works in that environment. I don't think he works in like a
Scripted.
scripted environment. Yeah, I don't think that works.
He might not.
It
He
might not come
probably
off right.
you. Th-
You know who I
I
think
feel
would work in a scripted? Haha
who.
Davis. Haha Davis might work if he was still like
Oh
popping. He might work in a scripted
yeah,
environment.
he was still
Drewski, I don't think
popping.
so.
Let him if Drewski, but I don't think the thing with also SNL is like you need to be able to have like a bag of impressions. And Drewski kind of he has like things that he does.
He has
You know,
3 impressions. He has the country dude,
yes,
the street nigga,
and like
and
the lawyer.
the lawyer. Okay, maybe 4, the forex scammer type guy. Like those are his 4.
But I feel like they would be like, "This isn't TikTok skits," like, because I feel like Drewski would bring the energy of like, "This is TikTok skits," and they're like, "We actually write jokes here."
Yeah, because like you can't just keep doing like Drewski's most recent one is really funny, but it only works on a social media
Yeah,
perspective. Like he could only do one skit like that on SNL and get away with it, and
right,
it'd probably have to be a digital short because just because of
absolutely.
the production involved. So his most recent one about the Myron Gaines fresh and fit type dudes, hilarious. Would
Got him
never work.
mad.
We did get it would
Got him
never
mad.
it would never work, on SNL. I just don't think
No.
and that speaks to what I was talking about earlier, like, that work with Martin Short works. I don't know why Chris Rock didn't work. I think it's because the white people have sapped all of his funny
Yeah,
powers, like on Space
yeah,
Jam.
but I don't think how long was he? He wasn't even on SNL that long, right? Like,
Chris Rock?
Yeah.
I don't
Was
think he was
he?
on SNL at all.
No, he was. He for sure was on SNL. He was definitely on SNL, I think.
Hold on.
I don't
Was he
wanna think
ever
of all the
he was a
well,
cast member for 3 years. He was a cast member for
yeah,
3
yeah,
years.
yeah, so he wasn't
He
for
was
that
like,
long.
he wasn't there that long, yeah.
Yo, Keenan got the yo, Keenan Keenan's like, "Yo, they the way they pay me here." Keenan on his Randy Orton shit.
Yeah, him and his young girlfriend. But
What?
yeah, yeah, he got a young girlfriend, super young, white girl.
Let me look this up. Keenan.
It's been a thing for a while.
Oh, I haven't, yo, to me, he's just like a person.
Heard that he got him young. He like him young, you feel me? Anyway,
Ah, all right. Well,
should we do our year-end wrap up or should we wait for that like next year? Just talk about just the year that was. I kinda don't want to because it's
I mean, we in the same place.
exactly.
Sitting in the same room, just the same computer, uh, doing the same thing, uh, uh, an unlimited amount of free time still.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, pretty
but
much.
but it could be worse, I guess.
It could be, yeah.
It could be
But
worse.
to your point,
Yes.
SNL, I'm not gonna say they're back.
Okay.
I don't think they're back. I think they're honeypotting you because you're gonna say that, and then you're
So
gonna
I
get
haven't watched an actual episode. I won't sit there and dedicate the 90 to something minutes of it.
bro. They're gonna honeypot you. Then next thing you know, Trump's gonna be doing an opening monologue. They never mind.
Yeah, they waved him off this year. They couldn't even help Kamala. What else was I gonna say? All right, well, since we're here with Uzbek, uh, this is gonna be a very bold question I ask here, and I already kind of know the answer to it.
Oh boy. Well, why ask? But go ahead.
Is Ricochet back? Yo,
No, no,
I
I
hope
have to
no one ever
say
sends that to Jada. You sued him. He was like, actually, I trademarked it in '07.
I'm gonna send it to him now just because you said that. You just reminded me that I had some emails to send today. Is Ricochet back? I think back in the sense like back in the good graces of the constantly churning social media cycle that always makes these guys victims. Yes, he's back there for sure because they are defending him. You don't even gotta defend him anymore, Meals, because
Shout
they
out to
got you.
everyone last Tuesday who was be like, "This nigga is such a geek," and then
Then Wednesday
literally
happens.
by Sunday they're like, "This is the greatest gimmick that I've ever seen in my life."
People are saying that. People are saying it's the greatest gimmick.
People are saying, I just finished watching Alvarez, and he was like, "This is he is so much. He's a million times better as a heel," and I'm like, "Bro, he didn't even do anything."
He didn't do anything. Who said that?
Alvarez,
Oh my
Alvarez, because he was calling him a
god.
geek last Tuesday. Well, he was calling him geek last Wednesday because of the whole Hurt Business Jam.
Yeah, but all he
Um,
is a black Sammy Guevara at this point.
mm,
Stop chewing your
uh,
tracks. Stop
uh,
chewing your tracks.
I actually am offended for him. That he
Isn't
could
that
be
what he is?
related.
Just he's just gonna become a cowardly shit heel. That's all he's gonna be.
Yeah, I guess maybe.
Still can't talk. I think that what happened last Wednesday was a deconstruction of his character in a bad way.
Hmm.
In that it feels as though the only way that he could get over, because he wasn't getting over just on his merits at that point, is to play a completely like a dork. Like he looked bad. Like there's no way around it. Like I don't listen. I've heard people say, "Oh, it's on purpose." I'm like, if it's on purpose, it doesn't matter. It's still bad. Like that does not
Yeah.
change this from being bad. Like I think that for what he's been doing here, he could have been doing elsewhere. And I really feel like there's I think that upon initial introduction to what's going on now, it comes off bad.
Hmm.
I think what happened at what was it, Hammerstein and Collision? Um, I can't believe Osprey lost to him. By the way, I still
I
can't believe that
can.
because they didn't do a finish last time. They didn't do a finish
I can
last time.
believe it solely because, 1, even if Osprey loses, he just has to come second to still qualify for the semifinals. So, even a loss doesn't really put him too far back. Um, but I can believe it because this is what he does. Loses to his buddies, loses to his friends. Uh, we'll
It's so
talk about that
weird.
maybe either this week or next week or one of them
But
weeks.
but okay, he's still wrestling the same matches. Like the thing is like people don't remember that he did play a heel before, and he
Yeah.
was just acting like The Rock. And he was like largely doing a lot of the same things that he was like kind of starting to do the middle finger stuff. Like he would do that already when he was a heel back in the day. When I think it was like he first went bald. Like he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
acting
yeah, yeah.
because
When he was
he
wearing
had
a
the
crown, I think, right?
yeah, he had the people's moonsault and all that stuff. Like I remember that, but it's like if going to AEW is just you rehashing things that you did way better 10 years ago, hello Claudio, then like I don't get the point. I don't
Tony Storm.
understand what 20 Storm, like don't even get me started on that. Like is she amnesia? Is she an amnesiac or is she a
I
child?
think
Because
I don't know.
I have no clue why she's acting like she's like, "Oh, buildings, New
Yeah,
York.
you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm a fan of
Traffic
that."
cones.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like,
you know.
is she a child or is she a wrestler? Is she like, what is this? Like, they don't properly know how to do these things. And if you're having faith in the creative team that is behind this, I think you are sorely mistaken because at
Mhm,
this point, AEW is filled with with such a cast of characters that like this is shit that they absolutely shit on TNA about, that they used to shit on WWE about. Like all of these cast of characters who are just
hey,
like
man.
so
It was a
off
nigga named
kilter.
Festus. It was a nigga named
Yes,
Festus.
Tony Storm is the new Festus.
Oh, that's crazy.
Like that's literally what she's like. That's what she's acting like. Am I bugging?
Uh, no, you're not bugging. I have the same critiques about it. I'm still lipoing it to an extent because I need to see where
How
the
many weeks?
inflection
How many
point
weeks you
kind of
giving it? How many weeks you
I
giving it?
just need to see where the inflection point lands,
You giving it a
where
Wyatt 6 weeks? Or are you giving it a
I'll give it wide 6 weeks 'cause,
okay.
uh,
Okay. All right. Listen, I'm off the train. And I can't be brought back. I don't ever get back on the train when I'm off it.
no, I understand. I understand.
I'll die with my opinion. I will never
Speaking
be
of
moved.
trying to die, y'all try to kill the Miz.
No, we didn't.
4K?
Listen, we admitted
Didn't try to
fault.
kill the
We
Miz?
admitted fault, okay? And you're still in foreclosure. So what's up?
No, we are not
We
in
admitted fault,
foreclosure.
and you're still
We
in
are back in
foreclosure.
business. We are back in business. We
Listen,
are
man, this is the man who used to pay you, and y'all both in the same position at this point. Or this is the man that you used to pay, and y'all in the same position. Y'all both bums.
listen.
He got starter locks, and that's the only difference. How long do it
I
take white people to grow starter locks? Oh, they did. You was bald or whatever last time I
I
saw
would
you.
assume you just grow hair, and then at some point you just like, "Let me lock this shit up." You they
No, there's no
whatever
just
Jacob
let me
Fat
like
whatever J have you seen
there
Jacob Fatu in starter locks?
there is no let me just lock this shit up with white people.
Let me see.
And Jacob Fatu got quiet as kept. He got white people locks too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. His hair it's not
His
that he's
braid ain't
not the
like
lock
that.
hair. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
he's
his braid ain't like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But here's a that's how Bray Wyatt did it. Bray Wyatt grew out his hair.
He just didn't
What
bathe.
and then locked it up. And I'm assuming what's my man's name? Dexter Loomis. I don't even
No, it's
know what
weave. It's weave. I saw it. Have you watched The
okay.
Ultimatum?
No, but it comes on after USA, right? Or after Raw sometimes, or
The
used to.
Ultimatum? No, it doesn't. It's a Netflix show.
Oh, what am I thinking of?
You're thinking of the Love Island or some shit,
All right, go on. No, I haven't seen the ultimatum.
bro. I'm not even gonna say much. You just need to tap in. I
Okay.
feel like our listeners are gonna be like, "Yo, this is better than AEW."
Is this season one?
3, just do 3.
Just season three?
Yeah,
Okay.
over the long weekend, in which case our life is a long weekend.
Or we've been on the weekend for a couple months now.
Yeah. Uh, over the long weekend, let's have you watch season 3. I've also telling people to go ahead and subscribe to Toku Shoutsu. They're playing Super Sentai episodes all in order. So to Super Sentai, if you didn't know, and this is for things that you want to watch over the holiday break. It's what the Power Rangers were based off of. So it's the original
Yes.
versions of those shows. They're playing all of them in order.
I don't know. I seen this I'm looking at the cast of the Ultimatum. I'm like, this looks like trouble. This look like trouble. One of these
No,
dudes look
look,
like Safari.
it looked like fire. It looked well, not fire. I just want you to watch it because it drove me crazy having to be forced to watch it. So like I want you to tear your hair out watching it as well.
I'll make some room in my Hero Academia rewatch, my yearly
Okay.
one that I'm doing
Okay.
right now.
Also, last thing before we get to the list, this MJF Adam Cole face off 15-minute thing.
I didn't watch it. How was it?
He brought up Brit. He brought up Brit. Adam brought up
Oh yes, I did. I
Tur-
did see that part.
Turkey.
Yeah.
They're trying to do anything to inject some heat into this feud because you know what with all of this cussing and dirt flinging and stuff that they're doing, they have still not explained why one
Yeah.
is a baby face now and one is a heel now.
They just said like you turned before me. Yeah, I was always gonna turn on you, but you managed to turn before me. And I'm like, all right, so what's the story here? Like, why are
This
y'all
is
involved?
awful. It's making MJF look terrible. Adam Cole to me is purely he's not salvageable at this point, in my opinion.
No, no.
He is completely what he is, and I think what he is done. He's cooked to me. He's so tiny. He's so tiny. Such a tiny guy. But yeah, that's happening next. Is it? No, it's this weekend, isn't it?
It happened on Collision
No, I mean
because
the
they
pay
also
per view. The pay per view is this weekend, right?
yeah, the pay-per-view is coming up on we don't gotta go over it, right? I
Okay,
don't even
no,
think War Report yeah, War Report's not even
they
going
didn't.
over it.
I don't
Yeah.
think the matches are done either, so that's why.
Yeah. But either way, um, at least you know what? They did the Hammerstein Ballroom. That's more their speed in terms of arena size and
Bro,
crowd participation.
the funniest part of people saying this should be their home base. I'm like,
No.
what?
What?
But I was like, they said the
When you
same
start
thing about
seeing the
art
ceilings being empty, when you start seeing the top two balconies just being empty,
when
then
they
it's
start,
gonna be a hard no.
bro. Didn't they say that their esports arena should be? I was like, what happened to
Bruh.
the esports arena? No,
Uh,
guess not. All
that's
right.
that's hilarious.
Well, year end list 2024. What would you encapsulate this year in wrestling as? Like
Um,
one or two words. I can say probably expansion. I think on many
yeah,
things. I
I
think
would say that.
the top 2 companies, they expanded. I think worldwide, WWE, obviously, there wasn't a pay-per-view in the American soil for 3 months,
Yeah,
damn near. And they're planning on doing their live shows on the weekdays on, other countries, and AEW, of course, doing Wembley again, signing their deal. They're gonna be worldwide on Max now, um, opening up to a new audience that'll hopefully help them in what they're doing, but it's been a year of, I think, global expansion, and I think that they're trying to put WWE and AEW in the mold of like the NFL of where this is like, we're gonna go global with this.
it feels very much like a contract year.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah,
too.
it feels like everyone's trying to. Well, for the most part, I can't say AEW in this point of putting their best foot forward because if this is their best foot, get off your little foot. Um, but or Bigfoot or whatever the fuck that she said. Um, that was voted the worst song of the year by Variety, by the way.
What? Bigfoot?
Bigfoot by Nicki Minaj.
Get on your big foot. Get on your big foot. You lied on your mother. The funniest song of the year.
Oh
I think
Lord.
there's so many like there's so much like political stuff at play when it comes to like music shit.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I think that it's so crazy that people don't recognize what's going on because it's like it's now blatantly in your face, right? Like the Billboard Pop Stars list that came out
Why did
yesterday.
they come out for one for this year now?
I don't but exactly politically like why is this happening right now? Like you'll think like, okay, you see number 3 and you're like, "Wait, that should be number 1." And you say, "Number 2, wait, that should be number 1." Then you see what number 1 was and it was like, "Wait, they all the people above this person had better years than this person who won number 1." Like,
Yeah, I don't think Kendrick was a
was number 1. And also,
yeah.
wasn't the whole goal of this year for him to be like the best rapper, not the best pop star?
Yeah.
Isn't that what
Huh.
they got on Drake about? Is
Makes you
him being a
think, huh?
makes you think, right? But then you look at the the other Billboard list of all-time lists, and it's like, how did some of these people get above, like, people who had, like, people who haven't had albums out in years who were labeled above other people? It's like, there's so much stuff that's happening, and that speaks to, like, the lists like that, like we were just talking about, like, it's right in front of you guys' faces, and, like, you're just taking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, guess what list isn't compromised? Ours.
Ours, not at all.
Not at all.
We're gonna shoot straight. I'm not being paid by anybody, all right?
Yeah. Yeah. Feel free to, but yeah, catch us if you can. But
I can't wait to sell out, all right?
yeah, me either. Let's piss everyone off.
Yeah, let's
Um,
sell out together. So we're
what's
gonna
the first
start
category? Yeah, what's the
we're we're
first category we got?
we're gonna start with match of the year as we always do.
Yes, we
Like
do.
we always do about this time because it's the one that gives us the most conversation, and I think it was unanimous with us this year, Mr. Meals. Match of the year. We're gonna go ahead and you know there and with this there was a late entry into my list. It ultimately kind of made it the third, but I feel like my top three were all 5-star matches, like all five, six, seven, eight, whatever star matches you want to call it. But my
Right.
match of the year, our match of the year for the year, unanimous between the both
Should
of
be no
us.
surprise. Yeah.
Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, Bloodline Rules, WrestleMania XL, night two. I mean, it changed the landscape of a company. I think
Mhm.
that it ended a specific era and started a new one. It was the crowning of I think the best crowning to me of a babyface that we've ever seen, of a next guy that we've
Yeah.
ever seen. And ironically, a crowning that Roman never got. Really, you know what I'm saying? Like Roman never kind of got this moment because every time he got this moment, it was maligned by something else that was going on. And he lost. You know what I'm saying? The moment that was supposed to be his, he lost. So it took us Meals 10 years to get to this type of moment where there was a baby face that they chose to get behind in this way as they did with Cody Rhodes. And we talked about it on the show this year, a very winding road to get to this point, and ultimately, in a way that only WWE can, they made a mistake that they that they a booking mistake that they fucked up, and they managed to make a really great moment out of it in the end by hell or high water. Don't know how they did it, but that is the match that we see here.
I think this is going to be one of the crowning moments of Triple H's regime. It may be the peak of it, or I don't want to say the peak. It may be one of the top moments for sure. Going the wherewithal to skew away from what they originally had planned and say no, this is it, and this is what we need to go forward. I think the results of this and the culmination to this should pretty much solidify that he is the one who should be carrying this company forward, and that no other decisions by any outside parties need to sway his vision
Wink,
moving
wink.
forward. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But overall, while I would have loved to have been given this also the feud of the year, but the reality is this feud was in the background
Yeah, the whole time.
the whole time, and it just culminated to the match. It would have been great to have a much better experience building up to this to really build anticipation for this, but this was part of a multi-layered experience where The Rock was involved, where Seth Rollins was involved. You had to get to night one to get to night two, which is a
Mhm.
great through point, but also probably the rivalry that Rhodes and Roman wanted to have probably weren't actually able to have, but I think they executed
Yeah,
incredible.
they barely touched. They barely got physical. They cut
I
like
think they
one
had like
promo.
one promo, yeah, like
Yeah, they
one.
cut one promo against each other, and that was like the week before Mania when
Yeah,
The Rock was off.
yeah.
And it was very strange. And I think honestly, like a lot of what we see them and let's be real, like this was a 2-year rivalry, even if they weren't on the same shows at the same time. You know what I mean? Like they And I think they use that to carry it on for this whole kind of build to the match. But like, it does suck that this should have been rivalry and this should have been match. That's how it's supposed to go, right? It should have been rivalry leads to the best match of the year, and that's how it's supposed to go. But ultimately, it didn't happen that way. But that's ultimately because at its core, you know, and I think this is a story for Cody in his whole career. At some point, he wasn't the chosen one at that point, and the people made him that. And you can say what you
Yeah,
want to say about him, but those people at the end of that show at XL, the one thing that shocked me the most, Meals, is that people stayed. They did not leave. They were definitely in that cold watching this nigga do 18 thank you speeches and play his song for an hour. That's the only song you heard for a whole hour. And I'm glad that
and brick ass Philly.
and Brick ass Philly, and they let it rock for a whole 45 minutes, I think, to an hour of just him celebrating. It's like, you have moments like this that remind you why you love this shit. And I watched this in a house full of my friends and my loved ones, and me and Mark were fucking going crazy in there. And even the cameos. You haven't even talked about the cameos, the callbacks.
Yeah,
This was a match, and there were rarely ever matches like this. And I don't think there's either of our matches of the year candidates, but one of them that we probably want to put it up there had as many callbacks to the past as this one did. You had the solo interference, you had the John Cena thing coming out that connected to so many stories there. Of course, of him being one of the chosen ones as well, but of him having a storyline with the bloodline. You had the Undertaker coming out as the ultimate judge, jury, and executioner. You had The Rock come out. You had
you had
the
Seth. Seth's
the
thing's
Seth.
probably gonna lead into whatever he does in the future.
Yeah, the Seth thing that is 10 years old. You know what I'm saying? Of him kind of finishing that or starting the story again with he and Roman. And Roman himself.
I feel like that's 42 for sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Like, and Roman himself just being um kind of encapsulating what his character has been, and that is a histrionic character who cannot let go of the past. Is the past his past catches up with him during this match, you know what I mean? And it ultimately is his undoing. And I got a shot, and really I think people don't give Roman enough credit as well. Is like, I think this is one of his best work matches too. And just character work and the facials that he had and just all of that stuff. Like, it was an incredible match. It's one that I watched at least 4 or 5 times this year
Yeah,
alone. And I don't only do that with my favorite matches. And this is definitely one of them. So the highest honor, this would probably be one of the greatest WWE matches of all time
yeah, yeah.
when
No,
it's
for
all said
sure.
and done. But yeah, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns. If you haven't seen it, did this eclipse the first match?
Um, yes, in terms of magnitude, for sure. I think.
Yeah,
Uh,
because
uh,
last year our match of the year was my match of the year was this match again.
hey man, remarks. What do we gotta say?
Hey,
You
I
know?
mean, hey, yeah, you know what I mean? And your pick last year was Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos, which also a great pick. But um our runner up, Meals, your runner up was Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita at AEW Revolution 2024.
I love this match. One, because it's the first of many of similar Will Ospreay matches. So I'm gonna give this the distinction of being the first. Um, but also I like the little storyline going into it. He wasn't totally broken up from the Callis family yet, but you could see that it was starting to fringe a little bit. I wish they executed better, which you can say about anything in AEW. Um, but this match was amazing, and it was to me Takeshita is one of my favorite wrestlers in AEW, and he needs more. He should be closer. He should be closer to the top than where he is now. Not to say that where he is now is bad, but I feel like if he had been given the development he had from the Kenny feud, which happened almost 2 years ago now,
Mhm.
he'd probably be better off. He should be better off now. He should be like low key flirting in a Damian Priest esque kind of thing currently.
Right.
Um, but I just love this match. I really really do. What's your runner up?
My runner up was Will Ospreay versus Daniel Bryan at AEW Dynasty. Not the
Uh,
greatest match on US soil because we already named
that's what
that.
they said. I think this got like 6 3/4 stars, 7 stars.
I think the one thing that stopped this from being truly great to me was
And
the end. Yes, the end really stopped this from being great to me, and I think the end of this match set off in what, in my opinion, what was a year of Will Ospreay like having great matches and great performances, like you've said, but not ultimately to me, not AEW not grasping on the lightning in a bottle they have with him. Okay, like
Agreed.
I have been
And shout out to
very
you for naming him Daniel Bryan in the run sheet instead of Bryan Danielson.
that's what he's always known to me as. But I just noticed that shit. That's what he always will be to me. He's still doing the Daniel Bryan shit, so fuck it. Still
Yeah,
gonna
no, for
guess.
sure.
But I think that, I've always been a big critic of Osprey in terms of just like I think that he's great, but I need him to slow down and like really just like take in everything. But I think with this match with Danielson really showed just how great he is. It kind of get grasping a crowd. The crowd was into it. I think it's one of the only matches this year that the crowd in AEW was completely into. They were
Yeah.
saying, "Holy
Lock the
shit,"
fuck in. Yeah.
from moment 1 before they even
Right.
touched, you know what I mean? And,
Makes you
I
think
think
they should have done it at a different place where there was more people who probably could have.
yes, yes, I truly believe that it should have
Where's
been
AEW
it sh
Dynasty?
it should have been, Dynasty was in April, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was in St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, I truly believe that,
Mhm.
Ospreay
Could
and
be
Danielson
worse.
should have had a prolonged feud that led to the rematch. And Ospreay should have lost this match. If they were gonna have any match for him to lose, it should be this match. He should have
Mhm.
lost this match, and it should have led to Bryan eventually winning the title, and eventually Ospreay getting that run back with him,
I
and
agree.
winning the title in Wembley. Instead, we got Ospreay. Did they think that MJF was like a bigger star than Danielson was? Is that what they think?
I think they wanted to spread the star around.
Because I mean, you had Ospreay going like third from the
But you
top.
go with your biggest match on the biggest show. I
Yes.
mean,
It
that's just it just is what it is. I don't think they
if
needed to do split it off. You go with your biggest match. I think MJF versus Swerve could have been a really good match on its own right, on its own merits too, if they
and at
chose to go that
Wembley.
route.
At
Yeah,
Wembley. Like, and my thing is like, if the story was like the Tiger Driver, right? And again, we're comparing. I'm just comparing this directly to the story to the story of the match that I felt as though beat this. And this is a 2-year feud, right? So if
yeah.
the story of this was he injured Danielson with this move and he doesn't want to do it anymore, or whatever,
The
like
irony is that he's actually injured now and can't
exactly.
compete. That's the irony. Like,
But
oh,
like if the story is that and he got beat by Danielson because he couldn't do the move, um and that's the whole story. And then it goes into Wembley where Danielson does the do it promo when he told him to do it to MJF, but Danielson tells Osprey, if you got to do it, then do it, and he does the move to end his career and to fucking like that's a great story. That's a great fucking story to me. But
they
then it
need
didn't.
us, bro. I mean, I don't know. They would have to pay me a
No, they
lot.
don't. No, they don't. They don't need me. There's no
Well,
there's no money that I could ever have in life that would make me
we'll
want
have a
that would
consultation job where you just work home and respond to Google
well,
text.
shit, they'll pay me, sure, they
Yeah,
will, but I again, I think huge whiff on Osprey here. I think Osprey is one of the most important wrestlers on that brand, and I think it sucks that they're constantly putting him in positions where he has to lose to people he should not be losing to, elevate people that should have been elevating years before he got there,
yep,
and he's in a tournament right now instead of facing off against the guy that's destroying the company. It's like he doesn't even seem to care. And
yeah.
he was doing all that rah-rah AEW shit in August, and now he doesn't give a fuck what Moxley's doing. It makes no sense.
This company sucks. Um,
It really does. Or anyway, where was the Drew McIntyre CM Punk Hell in a Cell
it
match on
was
your
in the
list?
conversation. It was
Yeah,
probably third.
yeah,
It was right there. It was literally right there. I had to like really think about not really put it in there, but I really did enjoy the Will Ospreay Takeshita match. Um, so I felt like it should have been represented in a way,
yeah.
but and then I also knew I would Drew and Punk would be put somewhere for sure.
Yeah, they'll be put somewhere, but it was definitely third on my list as well. I think it just to me it came in too late. I
Mhm.
think that like these two matches are just undisputed for me. And even though I also love that Hell in a Cell match, it was just too late for me. I think it was already
Absolutely.
set. It was too sad. Male wrestler of the year, unanimous. I think both of our choices are unanimous here. Male wrestler of the year, Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes. Who
Cody Rhodes.
else?
He
Who else
he
but him?
he brought in the numbers. He brought in the ratings. Uh,
He's on every damn near every pay-per-view. He's the champion that people have, looked for ever since Roman went part-time.
yeah,
He has, uh, elevated SmackDown, he has elevated Raw when he's there. Pretty much he's been the champion that he's always wanted to be.
right.
Um and the road there was fantastic. You can tell the people were behind him literally since that when he was about to give up his spot to The Rock. You can tell the people were behind him. So this is a champion that people are actually behind. Um, but also, yeah, he works, man. Like
Yeah.
he just does. There should be no other conversation. I don't want to hear about anybody in AEW. No offense, but I don't really want to hear about anyone in AEW. This man has been booked the best. He has performed the best. He has put himself out there as the best. Like there is no one above Cody Rhodes in 2024.
Yeah, if you're still denying it, I really don't. That's like a that you need therapy at this point. Like he's the guy, and they 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 pulled the trigger on him at the right time because people have been waiting to see somebody like this, and they got their guy in him. Like I've seen people in the past couple weeks say that Cody Rhodes heel turn is gonna hit like crack. I'm like, I hope y'all are not praying for that to happen because this guy sells too much merch, and there's
Clearly, they
nobody.
know what crack is
Yeah,
because
yeah.
just by
Like, I'm like,
mentioning
"Bro,
that.
there's not even anyone, like, ready to take on the responsibilities that he's taking on. You better get ready for him to be a face until he retires. The heel shit is never gonna happen because you know what? I don't think he wants to do it, to be honest with you. But, like, he's just the guy, man. He's I mean, classic match with AJ Styles, fantastic program with Kevin Owens is still ongoing. Um, riveting stuff with the bloodline. Even though I felt like they should have took him away from that earlier. I don't think he should have had a detour to the bloodline again. Um, but he just elevated everything around himself, and I think that again, it's about being excellent in every measure of promos, of matches, of getting a crowd reaction, all of that stuff.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you can't find anyone better than him. I think everyone who's at the top of their game is looking to him to get to where he is, and I think that's why he's the wrestler of the year. Our runner up once again unanimous. We chose Will Osprey, and
I feel like we're giving him the benefit of the doubt. There's a little bit of a benefit of the doubt in this as well, at least from my pick,
explain.
because it's clear he is the guy. It's never
Right,
been more clear.
right.
Will he still be the guy next year? We will see.
Hey,
But
listen.
the
Uh,
road he is taking currently
yeah.
is threatening to his status as the guy.
Right, right. No, because and I said this a lot on the show. I feel like Will Osprey could have been their Cody. He could have been like that Cody figure to come in and take the reins for that. I don't know if
And I
you
know
like
they don't wanna, like, give someone a bunch of wins and make them that person
why
and kind
not?
of, like, do
But
the
but
WWE
but
thing, but they
why
should.
not? Yes, why not? That makes no sense. This
Why is
guy
he
should
losing to Kyle Fletcher? Why is he doing this? Like, why is he losing to no offense, Ricochet? Like, why is he losing to Swerve? Why is he losing big championship, big opportunities?
losing to MJF. Like you're blowing through all of the big losses that he could take during his career very early in his career in AEW in America. And again, he at one point was garnering them ratings. He was doing a lot of really awesome stuff with them. Like, you know,
He
his
chose them over the grind.
yes, his I think his trajectory should be more than just doing Daredevil stunts with Darby on a TV show that only 500,000 people watch. I think that you should be saving every viability that he has while he's still able to do this while he's still young for
He's not
bigger
gonna be able
moments.
to do it for he's not gonna be able to do it. Even when he's by 40, I think he's gonna be.
We see Kenny Omega. Like I don't know what Kenny Omega will look like next year when he returns. I don't know at what level like we appreciated him in 2016, 2017 because that was probably the best of the best of what we got from him, right? And then there's
Yeah.
been flashes of it. But with Will Ospreay, you have a young, viable contender to say, we got this and this is something WWE does not have. And what you keep doing is you keep putting him in positions where I feel like they don't work for him in terms of, and I'm thinking of just making a bankable star there. Well,
Mhm.
Osprey is that. I feel like at one point Darby might have been that. I feel like at one point, and he's losing to Cesaro twice in a month. Like what? What are they doing?
Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, this is like I'm giving this to him because it's never been more clear he's the guy. He is something, but there's like a bunch of like warning labels that's kind of like all over it for me. Of like warning, too much use of this could be, there's like a lot of side effects that can happen. I wish his year could have been better, but
Mhm.
for what he is and kind of like how fresh he came in 2024 and how much needed he is for AEW, he's the guy. This whole year, I think we spent pretty much the entire year without Kenny, right?
Yep, pretty much.
Um,
Showed up one time to get beat up.
yeah. So, and I think when Kenny comes back, probably should be a big match guy from now on. I don't know if he needs to be in any kind of classics. I don't know if he needs to be in any casino
But
battle
that
royales.
that's the threat to like um what Osprey has to deal with because a lot of these guys are coming back next year. Like, and he's gonna are they gonna book him the same? And again, like that roster is bloated with a lot of guys that could have matches, not the level of Osprey, but somewhat close to it, right? So it's like you got to contend with the Swerves, you got to contend with the Omegas who's coming back, you got to contend with everyone else who
A Bobby.
a Bobby like he's losing clean to Bobby Lashley. Let's just be clear, like
Yeah, for
that
sure.
happens. He's losing clean to Bobby Lashley. You know what I mean? He might lose the Moxie. Like it's like they need to take and I hate to even say this, steal WWE's homework, and they didn't. They chose not to. They could have
Yeah,
stole WWE's homework. You could have given him that big L that he has to claw his way back to, and they could have did it in an abridged fashion. They didn't have to wait a year to do it. I feel like if you're not belt, strapping him up to with the world title as soon as possible, then you're not
mhm.
doing nothing. There's no reason he needed to be the continental or whatever the fuck champion he was, international champion or whatever the fuck that shit was.
Yeah, at the biggest show, one of the biggest shows you have now. You're not even going there no more. I mean, I think they're going there for Forbidden Door, maybe, but like,
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I just
It
don't
is what
want
it is.
you to
What it is.
tweet. I just don't want you to tweet this Will Osprey thing is really the saddest thing ever.
I'm
I
going
don't
back
want
in
you to
time to stop Will Ospreay. That's my new
yeah,
thing now.
I really don't want that to be your thing. So, that was our male wrestlers of the year, Cody and Will. I hope they continue it on. Do you think Cody could repeat next year?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think he still has a lot of people who he can face. I think
Mhm.
there's a whole other roster of people he can face. But then I also think
I mean,
what
I
I
don't
think
know,
with
man.
I think
Gunther
this
right
is going to be a
there.
much more story-based year for him as well. Not that this year isn't, but I just see that kind of like maybe continuing with
Yep.
various stories. I'm really feeling like WrestleMania is going to be a triple threat match now
Oh, okay. Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
don't see how they do the Randy thing at this point.
Just because
Like,
of timing, right?
yeah, and I don't know if Randy's actually hurt. So it's
I don't
like,
think I think he's on holiday break, but,
he's on holiday
uh,
break for 2 months, bro? Oh,
bro, I
maybe.
mean,
I mean, he's
we gotta
Randy. Yeah.
appreciate him for as long as we got, and
That's
if the
true. The Shawn Michaels break used to be he gets beat up after WrestleMania and shows back up at SummerSlam.
exactly, like, if the idea is that, like, he's gonna be around a lot more during this Cody thing, then yeah, like, I do feel you on the triple threat thing with KO and Randy, but I also felt as though, like, KO shoulda, like, won the title, but they kinda, like, gave us kinda gave us what we both wanted in a way with
Yeah.
this title thing he's doing, so
Well,
it's
it's
like
not the I won't say it's what I wanted, but it's what I expected it to happen. I think Cody is such the guy
yeah,
that
Cena.
I don't think you can interrupt it with the KO. As good as KO is, you hope that KO comes out better from this so he can help elevate other people or help, make other feuds amazing as well. I think that's ultimately what people hope we come out of it, but I don't expect him to come out of this with the title unless
Yeah,
it goes to WrestleMania.
true. That would be a what here so does Cody main event any of these nights? He has to, right?
Yeah, I would say yes to at least one.
Over Roman? Unless on Roman opens. I don't know.
I don't know, bro.
Yeah. Female wrestler of the year. Well, actually, let's get to what we said last year. Last year for male wrestler of the year, we both had Cody Rhodes, and then the runner up was
Nice.
MJF. So actually, he has won it 2 years in a row.
Look at it. We're glazing.
Hey,
Crazy.
man.
Um,
Female wrestler of the
He might
year.
have won the year before that too. Shit. No, I think he was
He low
injured.
key might.
I
I
think he
think
was
Seth
injured.
won the year before that,
Yeah, yeah,
2022. I think
yeah.
Seth won. Let me see. No, I don't got it here. Female wrestler of the year, Meelz. Your choice was Rhea Ripley.
She just has the is she just a star? That's kind of like what it is. Like been the most out of everyone on the roster. I mean, Charlotte isn't there, Becky isn't there. Um, Bailey had a good run to WrestleMania, and I can't really explain much after that. But she's been the star. Like like she's been there the entire year, even with injury a little bit. She was out for a couple months, but she was still incorporated within the storyline, which is the notable thing of a star. It's kind of like the Roman effect, where Roman isn't on the show, but everyone still has to be talking about Roman. Um, Rhea, she just I think of WrestleMania, I think of Royal Rumble, I think of the big matches that you kinda have. She's just been there through all of them. I personally can't give it to anyone else. It's just too overwhelming. The aura's too crazy. Um,
Well, I can, and I think my female wrestler of the year is Liv Morgan. I'm working late because 'cause I'm a Hall of Famer.
Liv's been great this year.
She's been
Liv's
fantastic. I think this year was WWE saying, "We are going to make someone," and it's been time for her to get this moment. I think last year we were very hard on her last year. I think the Becky matches were what they were. I think the general presentation of her was something that I don't think we were too big of fans in
but
2023.
I think Liv she was in a tag team heavy last year. So, she wasn't really in, like, a prominent spot. It was gearing towards the Rhea thing, but then she got injured. So, who knows what could have happened? It could have happened sooner. She could have got knocked off at Survivor Series, and that would have been that.
Yeah.
Um, but
But I think
yeah, she's
what we
elevated this year.
yeah, what we saw with Liv was just not only matches, okay? Like I feel like I feel like on both ends, and this is from the Staniverse, which I should really not pay attention to it at all anyway. Like
Mental
they
illnesses.
yeah, mental illness is all around. But I think that she has wowed me in the sense that like she has actually and I've been to a live show with her where she was there. I went to that Raw
Oh,
a
I
few
thought you
months
was
ago.
with her. I was like, "Damn, alright."
No. I went to Raw and one of the biggest, Rhea got a big reaction, but like in terms of like biggest heels on the show, she was the biggest heel on the show.
Mm,
She was one of the biggest heels on the show. People reacted to her in a way that people never reacted to her before. And I think that, her turning point really not only was just the Becky win, which we thought was like transitional type shit, but she's carried that title since May and she's managed to have big moments. She's the crown jewel champion. The Judgment Day stuff has gotten her even more hated. And
yeah.
I think that for as much as people like to say, and we said this on the show too, and I've said on the show, I'm tired of Rhea and Liv. I'm tired of it. These people are not. The people who go to these shows are not tired of this. Like they are into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the bad blood match notwithstanding, I thought that was a bad showing for everybody involved. They
Mhm.
wanna see them lock up again, and I think that
Do
when they have a chemistry.
I think everyone's ready for both parties to move on, and that's not me saying it's bad. I just think we've seen it all before. We've seen it all at this point. So there's nothing really there's no more juice to the squeeze. Um
There's nothing wrong with the women having a lengthy storyline or
no,
lengthy
there
rivalry.
isn't. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with it. I just think we as people are ready for them to move on for newer things. I think that's what we're like. The thing with EO was great, um, but I think everyone's ready for like, all right, what's Rhea gonna do next? What's Liv's gonna do next? Like we're ready for that. There's nothing wrong with a long storyline. There's nothing wrong with this. I just think we seeing them together for months are ready to see them interact with the 30 other people they work with.
I could do 7 more weeks. Um, your runner-up, Meals,
This is
was not
surprising as hell. This
was
is
Nia Jax was your runner-up.
this is surprising. Nia Jax, I'm almost sure in 2020, in 2019, maybe even 2021 was my worst wrestler of the year.
Worst wrestler of the year. She wasn't last year, no, she wasn't your worst
No,
wrestler.
she wasn't, but she was at some point. She for sure
Mhm.
was my worst wrestler of the year. Someone who lacked effort, someone who didn't look like they gave a damn, someone who beat up Charlotte Flair, someone who all these other things. Um,
She found Jesus, bruh, she came back.
Listen, man, that match at Elimination Chamber in Perth, Australia, really turned me around because it looked like she gave a damn. And then when she won the title, she hasn't been bad as SmackDown champion.
Hasn't been bad, no.
She she hasn't been
Even
bad
had
at all.
TV matches. She's been great. She's been good. Other
Yeah,
than
she
again,
hasn't been bad. She hasn't been
let's
bad.
you know what I'm glad too? I'm glad that people aren't holding the Survivor Series thing too hard against her, and they're just kinda
Well, I'm
like
not, but I don't know about everybody else.
I feel like most people with sense have been like, especially people like on podcasts and shit, have been like, "Oh, like, this is just one bad blemish in a really great year for her." You know what I mean? Like, she's been
She
good already.
started the match. She was probably about 25 minutes in. She was probably like, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
She was confused from moment 1. You remember the weird punch exchange with Bailey where she was just kinda confused as what was going on.
She's like, I got to remember how many minutes of spots.
Just an insane amount of, just fooling around in that match, but, you know, to your point, Mills, she has elevated as well in the same way that Liv has. These 2 had a solid match this year as well, in Saudi Arabia. Um, I can't heap enough praise on her for what she's done, not only just character work, but just in terms of in-ring stuff. Like, that Annihilator finish is crazy. Like, she destroyed, Lyra Valkyria, bruh.
Yeah, man, right on top of her. You know, kablam! It looked like when the house fell on the Wicked Witch, and her feet rolled up on her.
Jesus Christ.
It was listen. They gave Naya so much this year for I guess what she did last year. Um, so it's just been good. It's been good.
My runner up is Rhea Ripley. Uh, you know why I think that I had to put her in runner up because I feel as though Liv elevated and Rhea largely to me stayed the same in terms of just like reaction, all of that stuff. Like, we already know she's great. I think Liv kind of stepped up to the plate this year in terms of being a bankable like number one on her brand, especially when Rhea was out with injury. I'm not saying Rhea got less popular. In fact, she's probably more popular. But I think that in terms of just elevation, I think Liv just kind of elevated to where Rhea is this year. And I had to choose one, so I chose Liv over
I feel
Rhea.
you. I feel you. They're both there. So
Yeah.
you know,
Last year's wrestler of the year, Becky Lynch.
hey man, she would have
that
been
was
this year's too.
that was unanimous.
She chose not to. She pulled out from the runnings like Drake.
Yeah,
I was like,
I
nah, I
think
don't need to be nominated. I low key almost gave it. I low key I thought about it. I was like, she kind of had a strong January through April.
yeah, she had a strong like 4 months
Yeah,
before she
I was
left.
like,
Like the match with Rhea was actually pretty good.
yeah, I kind of still wanted to give it to her,
And
but
then she got hurt. She get hurt. She got hurt during the Mania match, I think.
no, 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 she was sick. She had pneumonia.
Oh yeah, she was sick. Didn't Rhea get hurt during that match? Then one of them got hurt during one of these matches.
Rhea probably got hurt because um she had to relinquish the title and Becky won it in the battle royale and then had to defend it against Liv. So I
Yeah,
think it's Rhea who got hurt. Yeah.
it was Rhea. Rhea just had a bad stretch of injuries. And then your runner was Asuka. My runner up was Rhea Ripley. I've never given her female wrestler of the year,
Would have been Oscar again this year too if she didn't
bro. If
she didn't
Asuka,
get injured.
bruh, knee sizzling, bruh. All
Yeah,
right,
but she still worked
let's
for 2 months after that. I should still give her at least some praise.
yes, absolutely. She's a beast. Cringe. worthy moment of the year. Meals. What was your choice for cringe worthy moment of the year?
This is a runner-up. This is second year running. The AEW scrums and WWE press conferences continue to be something I tune into and then immediately get disappointed by either questions that are asked or people who are there. This is WWE, they have transformed it, their post show now. They made it into a whole production. They were like, all right, let's not, these niggas aren't answering questions. Let's have
They're not
Paul
asking the
Rose and
questions we
Peter
want
Rose.
them to ask.
Yeah, let's just have Peter Rosenberg, Biggie, and Jackie talk for 20 minutes and then cut to them. And let's tape it in advance. But and then AEW like the butt lickers that are there as well. Like it's just not. I think the scrums for like I remember top of the year, maybe it was late last year. They asked about the Chris Jericho thing. No one can give a particular answer about it. Um, Triple H and just answering poorly every time.
Yeah.
Every time
Like,
the light is on bright for this motherfucker, it's just like, nope, missed it. Um,
whoops.
and yeah, I see everyone's color. Um, and just the I don't wanna single him out by name, but they keep inviting this one guy
Oh boy.
to to the press conferences, and I need him to write down questions before he goes there, and then ask the person next to him if it's a good question. Because
The person next to him the
when you
person
start
next to
asking
him gonna set his ass up though.
because when the person on the stage looks at him like he got 4 eyes, then, it is so that's it's cringe for me every time. It just literally physically. What is what is your
My
winner for
my
cringeworthy
cringe
of the
wor
month?
my cringe worthy moment is, the April 3rd episode of AEW Dynamite
Okay,
where
that's very
Edge
specific.
Edge comes out and gives a rah-rah speech.
You know he coming
Uh
back, right?
Huh?
He coming back next month.
I'm sure. That's your man. Is that your man still? Adam?
We are friends.
Okay, not Mans's, but friends.
Instagram friends though, not Twitter friends, apparently.
Okay. The I love AEW the Edge, I love AEW even though I've only been here 6 months speech, uh, for in response to CM Punk's, I believe it was the Helwani interview?
Yeah,
Um,
what a
listen,
tool.
man. Listen, man. Edge, you're disappointing me, brother. You could just stay out of it and collect
Yeah,
you
just
could
stay
just
out
stay
of
out of
it.
it and collect your check. You don't gotta do this.
Because he said I think in response to it, he ends up saying, I think he says in the CVV interview, he's like, "I have children, so I didn't really get the time to sit down and watch it because I have children." And I'm like, "You cared enough to talk about it on national TV. So, what does your children have to do with it?" That was kinda disappointing. We don't need no more rah-rah speeches. Y'all will be
Yeah.
fine. Y'all ain't babies. Come on.
Yeah, kill all that. It's just cringeworthy. It just makes it's cringy when they all when they whenever they do it. Even worse so when it's somebody that came from the WWE and has spent half of his career there, or more than half, his whole career there.
Yeah.
Just cut it out. Like it came off as you got paid to do this, in which case you probably did. So there you go.
Um, my runner-up was the Young Bucks' EVP gimmick. Boy, what a terrible, terrible if this did not prove to anyone that they are not creative or stars or anything that should be lauded in this company, this is that right there. Their
Yes,
EVP gimmick was the worst, and then they, like, brought people into it, which was the worst, and so much things eluded standard wrestling logic of storylines and matches and all these other things, and then they kinda just had to fall on their sword against Private Party and bow out because it was just so bad. Um, this
did
was
not
we
land.
Yeah,
It
if we had
didn't
a
land
worst
at
gimmick,
all.
if we had a best gimmick, worst gimmick, this was by far the worst gimmick of the year.
Yeah, it didn't land. Didn't work. Didn't get anybody over. I'd argue it didn't fucking uh, get Private Party over either because they're
I
now not even the shows.
And
anymore.
we'll talk about it later. I was gonna talk
Yeah.
about the video thing. Um,
Um, my runner up was in line with Meals, but more specifically Triple H at press conferences. Just stop it. Just have Cody do these from now on. Even if he's not even on the pay per view, even if he got beat up and put in the stretcher, have it live from the ambulance. Him taking questions. Like just Triple H, you're not good at it. And if all you're gonna do is read off numbers, you can start with that and then just have the wrestlers
yeah,
talk for the rest. Like just
yeah, but I don't know, meaningful. Uh, I'm trying to think of 2025 should be the year that we show up to one of these things if they let us show up.
I don't
Um,
know, man. I would just wanna what a food at? I'd be hungry after these events.
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. Good
What a
catering.
food at? Guilty pleasure of the year. Meals. What was your guilty pleasure of the year?
Speed, baby. Everyone
Well
talked
not
about.
the drug, WWE speed, okay?
I mean, I could have been any speed. No, but
I show
WWE
speed?
speed. I show speed was pretty good this year too. I think he took an R. No, that was the other black guy that hangs out with Logan. Um, I don't know his name. WWE Speed was great this year. It's my guilty pleasure of the year. Just something quick you could throw on. Um, go about your day. You know, it had a. I don't know. I don't know where it's at now. They're still doing it, but I'm sure they wish they aren't wouldn't be.
Yeah, yeah, because they're getting that X check, and I think that
Yeah,
once this year is up, I don't know if X is gonna re-up that unless they got, I guess, Nick Fuentes or fucking
because why did X think they could like go into like some sort of original
they
programming?
they were trying anything before Elon finally, I guess,
Said just throw more
getting the
Trump ads on it.
yeah, that's basically what they're doing. I'm sure that they're seeing the number drop off on X tremendously, so and plus it's
Yeah.
all botted anyway, so it's like they're paying you just for them to filter bots into your shit, like
Yeah, because then he answers. I liked it, but most people thought it was like a demotion or some sort until they saw their man's on it. So,
yeah.
like, oh shit, he was on it. What was
My
your
guilty
guilty pleasure
pleasure
of the year?
my guilty pleasure of the year is, this is a group that I think when you think of things like the Four Horsemen,
Mm,
DX, NWO, you
mm.
think of,
Notable Hall of Fame groups. Yeah, of
great
course.
great groups, Hall of Famers. Yeah, you're right, Hall of Fame groups like that. You think
Yeah,
of this group and you say, "I see something in them that, uh, could create pandemonium. It could create fandom,
yeah,
new
yeah,
fandom in
yeah, man.
wrestling."
Well, listen,
Um,
Solo has that effect on people. You know.
no, it's not that, it's not that, it's
Oh,
not that,
it's not.
it's not that. No, it's not. So,
Oh, sorry.
no, it's not the new bloodline. But when you think about Hall of Famers, you think about people that really made a mark on this game and that are continuing to make a mark on this game, and then to a point where they even add in people who might have been underperforming as performers. You know what I mean? They essentially adding in people who may be just like the Akira Tozawa of main eventers. You know what I'm saying? Just a guy that loses a lot. They've added in people that have struggled financially and needed a little bit of help. And I think about the Final Testament, and that was my guilty pleasure of the year. The Final Testament with the Miz, yes,
Oh, with the Miz. Okay.
with the doorman, because he
Uh,
added he added something to the group that they needed. It was a comic relief.
victories.
Nah, nah, it was comedy. We needed
No.
comedy. We needed
Oh,
comedy
okay.
to help us out. We were a little too serious. I will admit we were a little too serious. No, we laugh a little bit. We laugh a little. You know what I'm saying? We chuckle. And then, because the thing is with 4K, we never really lose.
Right.
Every I told you this last week. Do you
Right.
need me to
You
read the
sure
Jay-Z
did.
quote again?
No, no, no. We're
Because I will not lose. They try to help him cheat. You know what I'm saying?
well, listen.
There's a lesson in every L. That's why they call it an L. You feel me? There's a lesson in every L. That's why they call it an L. But
Wow.
there's only 4Ks and 4K. You feel me? So that's what we're doing. Final Testament. Shout out to Karrion Cross, Queen Scarlet, AOP, Brother Paul,
You
and
sound like you naming off state property members, bro.
Miz. Those are my guilty pleasure of the year, man. I'm glad to see them finally doing stuff, doing cool stuff.
My runner up, Harley Cameron. You know I
She
love
fine. She fine.
Chuckletown.
She fine. Right?
I love Chuckletown, and there has not been someone who has taken me to Chuckletown so much in my life ever since, of course, they released Billy Kay, unfortunate release. Yo, she needs a job or something. That but Harley Cameron has been funny. She has even made me watch segments that include Paige or Soraya, if that is who you go with. Um, she's been amazing. She's been funny. She's not bad in the ring. She can kind of go. She can sell the gimmick. She's one of those people who's like NXT, but she'll probably resign for some exorbitant amount of money to stay and continue to
I
be a
I
ventriloquist
enjoy,
or
I
rap.
enjoyed Harley Graham. Harley Graham was pretty funny.
Harley Graham was amazing. She just bringing great stuff, like creativity to the show in ways that the show definitely needed. So
Who
I
her
agree.
man? Who her man?
I think she's dating some who's she dating? She dating that guy. Was he on NXT? Oh, Zion Quinn.
No.
Yes. She's dating
No
Zion
fucking way.
Quinn.
She ain't posted them.
Nah, she's maybe they not together. No. I'm almost sure she dated Zion Quinn.
Listen, man, somebody will tell me. Need that though. Need that. Hashtag need that.
Let me see. Let me see.
Um,
Let me see. All right, yes. Go through your thing. And just go through her
my runner up was
Instagram
Joe
and find her.
Hendry. My runner up was Joe Hendry. I think he came through at a time when NXT was kind of surging, and he helped with that surge. I think the Joe Hendry experiment on NXT um was like kind of like a worlds collide, like after credits type thing for them that actually panned out, and he got a couple of matches there, and he ended up being one of their biggest stars on the brand, almost to a point where like when he left, it was almost kind of like, okay, we who can fill this spot on the men's division here? But regardless of what people feel as though like he was in the ring, I think he added a sense of like intrigue to the men's division there in NXT, which is like a huge conversation, obviously, with everybody in our Discord and all of our fans. But like, I think Joe Hendry was somebody I did not know much about, and he
Hmm.
ended up being something that was really enjoyable. Like, I love the Ethan Page, and again, I guess this goes into Chuckle Town with Harley Cameron. I guess he made me laugh, and I
Yeah.
guess he was a guilty pleasure for me because he took me to Chuckle Town many times
It
during
looks
his
like they
tenure.
broke up because she is not on his Instagram anymore, and vice versa. So they
I
might have
just
broke
I,
up.
I just can't stop winning, bruh.
They might have
I
broke
just
up.
can't. I can't stop winning.
She was like, "Brokey, get a job."
I
Um, let's see. Let's see.
let's go into most. And do you want to go at guilty pleasure from last year or
Yeah, look, guilty pleasure from last year. Mine was the Chase U scandal because Chase U is just the scandal of gambling and then having to get your money back by selling calendars. JC Jane was included. So many people were involved within this entire thing. So that was mine. And then the runner up was the Tony D'Angelo scandal, which was also hilarious because why would someone get arrested and the only way they would be free or the charges would be dropped is if you
the
win a
wrestling
match
match?
and get a live call from the jail on air throughout the That's so I'm gonna watch that back today.
He sounded like Shine on the Confessions remix. My
It was
my guilty
amazing.
my guilty pleasure, I feel as though I set up AEW watchers for a terrible 2024 because
Oh yeah.
my
Oof.
guilty pleasure was Orange Cassidy matches, and you got like 55 million more.
Yeah. Well, it stopped mattering. This is what we talk about, the development, right? Orange Cassidy, great year last year. What happened this
Yeah,
year?
yeah,
They're gonna
bullshit.
say, did he just have a world title match? I'm like, yeah, but what did he do the first 11 months of the year before he was getting fucking Baja blasted in the face? Um, pause.
My runner up was NXT telenovelas because NXT actually kind of pulled away from the telenovela stuff. They're doing it a little bit this year, but
Now
that's cool.
it's instead of telenovelas, now it's more like the game.
Yeah, pretty much. Like,
BET's the game though. Like,
why? I'm like, Carmen, why do you care what Asante Adonis is doing?
oh
Like,
my
what?
god.
Anyway, most improved. And I think this is unanimous. And shout out
Shout
to
out to
us for
that.
this.
Yeah, shout out to us.
Our most improved this year was Lash Legend, somebody who I feel as though got a lot of unnecessary hate. but I think when you look at her in totality, you see how the structure of how NXT does developmental and WWE does developmental helps kind of breed people into being serviceable, and in Lash's case, like somewhat more serviceable. Because I mean, you put her next to her tag team partner, and woo, you can see the difference.
Yeah,
Definitely see the difference.
but then she's someone who you put her on SmackDown and she fit right in. There was no you didn't even need to, like, warm it up, you didn't need to, like, truly tell too much of a story. You just kinda, like, looked at her and it was like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, and she did her thing, she had her, like, month stint on SmackDown, had a lot of great matches, got a couple victories, managed to make it to Crown Jewel, like, you know, I mean, shout out to I think when she'll eventually be called up, I'm assuming in the next couple weeks,
Mhm.
um and I'm assuming Jakara will as well. I'm
Yeah,
assuming, but,
yeah, they both
sometimes
got
they
to
be
go.
sometimes they be leaving people behind. Um,
Yeah, and
sometimes they
they leaving Jakar out the Uber. That's crazy.
sometimes they just be leaving people behind, but, no, she's been great this year. Shout out to Lash.
And again, you look no further than like what she was able to do with Bianca there, what she was able to do, on pay per views, and I think like other than like a couple of moments, never looked scared. You know what I mean? Never looked frightened about the moment that she was in, and I think that was even more of a big help for her. It was to be able to do that. So, um, runner up, Meals. Who's your runner up this year?
Tony D,
Wow.
um, because I never saw him as much of an in-ring guy. I think it's because last year he spent all his time in tags, but that might have helped his development too, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Um, but this year he kind of like showed out in a big way. Won the Heritage Cup, won the North American title. Kind of like a guy to have matches now. Which that wasn't the case when he debuted in 2021. Uh and he's kind of got it all down. I'm interested to see how they incorporate him within the main roster. I think it'll once he eventually does get called up, I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how he'd fit last year, but this year I can see it a little bit more clearer now. When you have people like um what was it called? American Made and a couple more kind of like mid card acts. I think they can, you know, trade very well with Tony D'Angelo and the family.
Right.
Um, but he's improved tenfold this year. Shout out to Tony D.
My runner up was Lola Vice. And I think that like with Lola, like we always kind of knew that she had the talent to go, but I think they took her presentation and her character to the next level this year. Like just being able to have like just really legitimately great matches and really just being like a really like annoying kind of shit heel too when she was doing the stuff with Shayna Baszler. The underground stuff has been a big boon to her largely throughout the year and really showing that she can really go on these shoot kind of wrestling type styles, like were in a way that Ronda was trying to do back in the day, but like Lola just probably is infinitely more likable, probably. But I think she's great, and I think she's only starting to get way better on the mic. And the babyface turn has been rough. I'll admit, like it's been rough to buy her as a babyface, but I think as an ass kicker, she's one of the best in NXT in the women's division. I think she's definitely way improved over last year, and it was really between her and Jada Parker for me here. But I feel like Jada still has some moments. You know what? I really don't like Jada's finisher,
You don't like getting hit in the face with a
but the
giant
hip,
hip? Yeah.
yeah, like I like
It'll
who's that
probably be
knocking
bad
out?
for her in about probably in like 10 years. It'll probably be a terrible decision in hindsight. But
Yeah,
yeah.
like she needs a new finisher. I don't know if it's got to be a slam, but she needs a new finisher. Like but watch they give her the X
DDT
factor.
26,
Bro, they're gonna give her
Even
the they're gonna give her the X factor, bro. That's really what it's gonna be. He's gonna get the X factor. Oh my god. Last year we were unanimous in our most improved. Dominic Mysterio won, and Trick
Mm,
Williams was our runner up. So that was cool.
look at that.
Least improved. Oh boy, I know
Oof.
you about to go in. Go ahead,
Oof, man.
brother.
Well, listen, she originally I'm still naming uh a the overrated award as the Britt Baker most overrated award. Probably until she eventually quits. Because I'm just I know that's how we wired. She's just gonna be better elsewhere. But man, talk about coming back. Big lauded return and shitting the bed.
honey,
time.
give us nothing, honey.
She gave us nothing time after time after time. She had 4 matches this year, and I can't think of one that was, like, serviceable good, and it looks like I'm low key I'm gonna so I was thinking about this too as I was writing this down. I was like, "Yo, maybe she's, like, still kind of low key injured. Like, maybe her back isn't thing."
There's no way.
Man,
There's no way. There's no way, Bills.
the matches is terrible. Like, Britt Baker, like,
There's no way.
the division needed you. It still low key kind of does. Um,
To me, it
because they
seems more like a crisis of character than a crisis of her physicality. I think that
mm,
she has become from everything we know, everything we've heard, everything we've seen, it feels like she is a firebrand back there and that no one wants to work with her. And I think that the Mercedes thing was the last straw. That's what it feels like to me.
that's nuts. Maybe they'll keep her on the shelf for 8 months like they have with a couple
Like
other
like
people.
like who will work with her? Who will work with her? She's
Someone
not
should
gonna
work with her. Like, she's
she's not
still a notable like, there's people who are just have nothing going on for them, and I think a
right.
Feud I think there's still value in Brit because she can talk and she can thing, like, even the nobody cares thing, even though that was kinda green as hell, um, people still remember that, and that's the last time she was on TV, unironically enough. Um, but she it's gotta be something. Even if you put her on, like, Collision and make her a Collision mainstay, there's gotta be something with her, but she has not had a good match in a
If
very, 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 very long time. It's
Mills,
been years.
if you're Tony, right? If you're Tony Khan Mills, do you feel like
Yes.
you've gotten the money out of Britt Baker that you have bought into? Do you feel like that was something that you bought? Like I'm getting like if you're Tony, you're like I'm getting everything that I have asked for with her right now, and I'm paying for right now. Like, do
I
you
don't
re
know
up?
if those I don't know if those conversations work for Tony because he be keeping niggas on the payroll anyway. Like, he keeps people who do nothing for him and pays them. So I don't know if there's any true value for him. He doesn't really value anything except just not going to WWE instantly. And with how long Britt Baker was out for injury, I highly doubt her contract will be up next year. Um, but like,
She's just
I,
not good, man. And I think even with her coming back, the promo. Remember that
she
promo
not on
where
any
she
posters. She's not on any promotional thing. She's not like she is. She's not on any of the stadium stuff. She's not on anything, bro.
we haven't even mentioned that she got suspended this year.
She did
For
for
a
talking that shit,
altercation,
talking
yeah,
that
for
real.
an altercation with MJF's girlfriend. And remember the promo that she so clearly, recorded before she got put on suspension, where it seemed like she wanted to be anywhere else in the world but doing that promo, on the video screen, and everyone kinda knew that she was suspended, but, like, it was weird that the show was trying to make it look like she wasn't. Like, when you're suspended in the E, like, you're gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they don't even try and mince words about it, like, your ass is gone. With her, it was, like, so strange because it was like, there's definitely no way that she wanted to cut this promo right now, and she's doing it, and it was like it was almost like watching somebody quiet quit on a company, and that's what it felt like to me. It feels like she just does not wanna be there, but she's in a position where she's in a company where they just won't let you go, and
No, they're not
that's
gonna.
what happens.
So she's just gonna be there. I think she'll still piss people off too, because it's clear she does whatever the fuck she wants. Um, she's got
How's
the
how's it
power
feel to
of a
be
white
God's favorite?
woman.
How's
Yeah.
it feel to be God's favorite, Britt?
My runner up, Indy Hartwell. I know she's released, but
Yeah,
it wasn't
man.
good before it anyway.
Yeah, I saw
She
niggas
was
lying. I'm not gonna
yeah, she was not trending upwards or any direction related to that. Uh, she was in a tag team with Candace. They was trying to do the heel thing of like, let's make you a heel thing, but like, I feel like there's only so far H will go with you if you can't wrestle well.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's only so far you can go, period, if you can't
Yeah.
wrestle. Let's just be clear.
So if you can't tell the minutes of stories in the ring, move on. And Candace has benefited. I'm not gonna say by the end of Indy Hartwell, but She just benefited by like, okay, now you have the space where we can feature you in other programs because you can go and we've been wanting to. So yeah, I know this is like kicking you while you're down, but it's indie.
Sorry, bud.
Um,
Sorry,
yeah.
sorry, Indy. My runner up is Jakara Jackson. I mean, nothing needs to be
Damn,
said.
the
Yeah.
tag team right there. You just had
Dog,
to. That's cold blooded of you, my friend.
bro, look, listen, look no further than the match that she fucking had with Julia and Vacker a couple weeks ago that drove me up the fucking wall. It drove me loopy, bruh. I was fucking loopy. I was like, "This is I can't be watching this. This is unreal. I cannot believe I'm watching this shit." And it was terrible. It was pretty bad. And look no further than that match. It was awful. Our choices last year: Dana Brooke,
Dana Brooke. If I knew what she was doing, it probably would have been the same this year.
Zia Lee, Gigi
Similar.
Dolan, and Jade Cargill was
Gigi Dolan has the benefit of not being on this television this year.
yeah, she was gone for most of the
But it
year.
doesn't look like she really got that much better, to be honest with you.
We'll see.
I like the new yeah, I like the trio though. Kinda cool.
It's a nice little trio there. Let's get to pay-per-view slash special of the year. I think it was unanimous. I think we both said WrestleMania XL. I will go night two.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go
Um,
night two as well.
yeah,
If we're
WrestleMania
counting
X.
separate days, yeah, night two for sure.
Yeah, night two is just one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time. In that sense, I put it over X7. I
Let
think
me see what's on
that's
night two.
clear.
What was on night two?
Oh, you had Cody Roman, you had the cash in, you had Seth and Drew,
Yes.
you had the cash in as well.
You had damn, I gotta scroll. These wiki pages just get longer and longer. Um you had the cash in, you had 4K on the card.
Yes, sir. That was a fun match. Don't
Yeah,
forget about that. That was a
Snoop
fun
was
match.
cool. Snoop was amazing.
Oh
Um,
boy. Yeah, Logan.
LA Knight versus AJ Styles. LA Knight
Yeah,
versus AJ Styles
was
was
sneaky
good.
good. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was sneaky
sneaky
good.
good. Sneaky good.
Logan Paul with Logan Paul against Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. I forgot who got pinned in that match, and I was like, damn, I completely forgot that happened.
Yeah, me too.
Um,
It's a
then you
shame they
had
couldn't just
Bailey.
put Cody in that role of Logan.
Then you had then you had Jesus Christ. Then you had Bailey versus Io Sky, which is a match of the year contender, by the
Yeah,
way. It's in my
absolutely.
top five. And
Very good.
then you had the main event there. It was a fantastic show, top to
And
bottom.
I'm sure some other shit happened, like someone performed or someone came out or
I don't think there was performance
something.
that night.
What happened? Night two, Snoop Dogg. Okay. Um, Stunner. Yeah, no, I guess nothing happened. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Nobody came out that night. And then our runner up was Backlash France, which was a sneaky fire show. Which
It could have been my number one if Cody ain't do whatever the hell Cody did.
what you mean?
Because Backlash France is fucking amazing. Backlash France is some listen from top to bottom. This is first of all Solo and Tamatonga versus Kevin Owens, Randy Orton street fight turned into a street fight out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And
Bailey
people were
versus
mad. People were
Naomi.
mad about that. People were mad about that. I was just like, what the fuck could you be mad about that for? Like
Weirdos. Bailey versus Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, amazing. Damian Priest versus Jay Uso, amazing. Bianca and versus Kabuki Warriors. I mean, they did what is it? 17 minutes. That had to be like a fever dream of this being a
I don't
17 minute.
I looked it up the other day and I was like, I do not remember that match going that long.
No, I don't remember it going that long either. 17 minutes. Jade must have been like, "What is going on?"
She
I
was
mean,
huffing
yes,
and
she was.
puffing, bro.
She technically was, but still. And then of course Cody versus AJ, which was fantastic. So just 5 match card for the win.
Yes, sir.
Um, Last year we had
Last year we
I
had I had Mania 39 night 1.
mhm, I
I
had
had back
Backlash,
what was on that Backlash card? I don't remember.
Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah. And then you had the runner up Elimination Chamber and I had the runner up Royal Rumble 2023. You really couldn't go wrong with those first 4 months of WWE last year.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
couldn't go
no,
wrong.
they were on a tear.
Yeah, they were cooking last year. Okay, so let's get to most tasteless promotional tactic, and I think this is like kind of the key of this year of where things kind of went wrong with AEW. And I think there's always these inflection points with them where you can kind of chart a path from where something went seriously wrong as to why they're in the position they're in. So 2022 was Brawl Out. 2023 was firing CM Punk, Fear for My Life. And 2024, unironically, was them showing the Brawl Out footage from that night at Wembley. And again, for people who don't know, they were hyping this footage up for months, almost a year. They were hyping this footage up that they had it, they were going to show it. This was their trump card. This was kind of like the nuclear option that would make CM Punk look terrible. CM Punk, in a way, I feel, dared them to show this footage by talking about it again weeks before on the Ariel Hawani interview, and basically saying, these are not serious people. They're not a business, and I think this dared them to show it. And so they, during the aforementioned Bucks terrible EVP gimmick, they
Is this
said that
still on YouTube? Let me see.
they would show the truth of what happened. And they showed it. It had no sound because it was like a CCTV, and you
Yeah,
saw
they didn't
Punk's
put the clip on YouTube. That's so
as they
funny.
should, as they shouldn't. But they put the clip out there, and I think it was. I've never seen something be so negatively received ever, and not work. Like literally not. It did not work at all. People did tune in to watch it. It was like the last time they got like 800K viewers, so people did tune in to watch it. But I
Yeah,
think
but not
I
even
think
that much. It wasn't even crazy amount. I would have thought it would have been like 900 something along those lines because this is some
yeah,
salacious material, and this is something that was very damning and led to one of the biggest news stories for pretty much the last 2 years. And it didn't even. I would still say it was a disappointment ratings wise because clearly people tuned in to watch it and then tuned the fuck out afterwards,
right.
like forever. Um, but this was so dumb, and the way they try to incorporate it into the storyline didn't really make sense. The way they try to show it on television, I don't know who would have greenlit that. I don't know why you have a PR person or any person who is currently working for your company who would think that would be a good idea. But I guess you gotta, whatever your boss tells you to do, and you just gotta think it. But it was a terrible idea. Um, like you said, didn't work. In fact, made CM Punk look cooler
Yeah.
post WrestleMania.
He beat up like 3 dudes.
Yeah,
Like, he like it made him look like a G.
and it
And
made Tony Khan look like a pussy and all types of other things.
yeah, I think that, in it was a gross misreading of, like, what their fan base was, and I think it showed, like, CM Punk fans or CM Punk fandom is probably bigger than your company is, but also, like, no one like, get over it, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it showed that they just were not and refused to get over this one moment in life that happened, and they just they refuse to they just honestly refuse to move on from this one thing. It just makes no sense to me. So yeah, I think this is definitely the inflection point that caused many people to tune out of AEW this year. One of many. I mean, I think that you have the bad TV, you have, terrible creative, that could be one point of it, but, like, ultimately, it was this. It was people saying, "Okay, well, that's it. That's that on that. Goodbye, AEW," and that's what
yeah. It
happened.
kind of it really ruined the reputation of the company and the people who are with it. And I'm sure there was a lot of people internally against it, or they'll say they're internally against it. But it was just a bad decision overall. I low key think they were cheered on to do the idea by Dave Meltzer. I low key like. There's no doubt in my mind they asked Dave, "Should we do this?" And Dave was
He
like,
was the
"If you
one
want,
hyping it the most.
yeah, if you want, well, if you want, people to see that he's a bad person because you guys aren't really looking good in this and all this other stuff like that." I can clearly see his old out of touch ass saying, "Yes, you should show this," or "This would be a good idea," or something along those lines, because this was a terrible idea.
One of the
I don't
worst.
know. Yeah,
One
one
of
of
the
the
worst.
worst.
One of the
Yeah.
worst. And they made you wait mad long. Remember they made you wait mad long to show it. Like, they didn't
Yeah,
show it until,
top
like,
of
the
the
second
second
hour.
hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, it just like, literally, our whole chat was like, "Is that it?" Like, we were like, we were literally shocked at what they
But here's the
showed.
thing, I didn't even watch the show because these are I'm so, like the internet's such a thing now, like, I knew it was gonna be on the internet within the next 3 minutes. So it didn't and then they flagged people
Yeah.
who
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 were
reposted it.
posting it.
Yeah.
So it's like because everyone was saying how dumb it was. So, yeah, they goofed big time.
Always goofy. Anyway, runner-ups here. You said your what was your runner-up this year, man?
My runner-up was extending time on contracts due to injury. It just for AEW at least. I think there's a way to go about it. I think there's a way to do it. I don't think they've done it right, and I think because their fan base is so chronically online, none of this ends up adding up. Because news sources report on when contracts are supposed to be up and then have to kind of like walk it back and say actually time has been added for injury, it's actually made it worse for them.
Yeah.
So we've seen people like Ricky Starks, who we want to see in the ring, possibly can't compete. Again, Miro, someone who may thing, can't compete. Someone like an Aleister Black, who probably contract probably should have been over already, have to continue his contract. We've seen people, most recently, I think it's Ray Phoenix, who want to join his brother in WWE and now has to wait a considerable amount of time to be able to do that, but will not be featured on any AEW show moving forward. So, you know, I think it's just a bad decision. I think it's just bad. I mean, we talk about bad decisions with AEW, but I don't think it's just like reading the room. You're not gaining anything from these people necessarily being there. I get the contract notion of it, but if you're not gaining anything and you could cut ties very quickly and kind of like move on, um, I think that would be the most recommended thing. What was your runner up?
My runner-up was, Netflix promoting a Vince McMahon documentary while he is in the midst of a,
Oh
sexual
yeah.
assault case.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Remember, didn't we want to learn about the life of Vince McMahon? And then that doc
Uh,
sucked.
that doc was awful. Didn't work for me.
That doc
Didn't work
sucked.
for me.
The
Uh,
other this and the WrestleMania doc was really
just awful. I and
awful.
not
It
only
was
that,
bad.
like, the doc was just, like, very milquetoast. It was very average. It,
He
didn't
gave
kind
them
of.
nothing,
Yeah,
essentially.
he gave him nothing, and they hyped it up like it was something, and I think
Yeah.
that, the idea of doing this right next to, like, a case that is this serious, um, really bad taste, poor taste for Netflix, and poor taste for, like, everyone trying to push that shit. Like, it was whack, it was terrible. Last year, our choices for most tasteless promotional tactics was, you said CM Punk and the Collision Saga. I said Tony Khan tweeting after NXT beat Dynamite in ratings. I forgot about
Wait, he never did that again.
yeah, and you said the women's division. I don't remember what I said was my runner up. I can't remember. I don't
I
know
don't
what I said
remember
last year.
either, but
It's
it's
not filled in.
yeah.
Um, let's get to most confusing booking decision. Let's get out of here for Christmas. Uh, my most confusing booking decision was WWE threatening to have Cody Rhodes give away his Royal Rumble win, leading to The
Hell
Rock
yeah.
and Roman
I should have
Reigns.
put that as number one. Why didn't I do that? Let's do that.
Okay, unanimously,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
W
unanimously. I'm switching it
WWE
around.
WWE threatening to have Cody Rhodes give away his Royal Rumble win, leading to The Rock and Roman Reigns. I don't think it's I really don't think it, bears repeating how stupid of a decision this was, and how stupid it was that they even threatened to do this. This would have been, I think, the moment if they would have did this and gone along with it, this would have been to me a Fiend Seth Rollins type situation
Mhm.
where people would go and turn their backs and go watch the other thing. And I don't know who within the company, who within creative, who was the cooler head that prevailed here, but thank God that y'all did, because this was an utterly stupid decision. And it became even more so clear during that documentary with whatever they chose to reveal during that, which wasn't much. That, Cody pointed at Roman when he wasn't supposed to. So shout out to Cody for kicking that off too, but also, like, shout out to the fans as well for not putting up with that shit.
You know this had to be bad if it's over AEW anything.
Yeah, yeah,
Because this company does not have a lot of confusing booking decisions. Not it's been more rare in WWE than it has in AEW for sure.
yeah. Not
Um,
outwardly so. Like,
yeah,
it was
yeah, yeah, yeah. But, there'll be a couple of things WWE does a year where you're just like, "What? Why?" Um, but realistically, this was the biggest and most egregious and had the most negative effect, um, that could have happened on the way to WrestleMania. So yeah, most confusing booking decision. I agree with you. Initially, I had this as my winner, but now it's my runner-up, and now it's like an amalgamation of like multiple things.
Yeah.
Um, it's just AEW booking in general.
Yeah.
Just confusing from the standpoint of like, what are we doing here? Like, where are we going with this? So initially, I had Will Ospreay's booking because I think Will Ospreay, we talked about a little bit, like why are these losses kind of like stacking up? Albeit male wrestler of the year runner up,
Yeah.
probably the best wrestler AEW has right now, but still confusing. The mere fact that he's managed to still last and be as popular as he is beyond these confusing booking things is crazy. Another one I have, Mercedes Monet's booking. Why is she still undefeated? Why is she more popular than the women's world champion? Why? Just why?
I would argue she's not popular at all.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I don't think she's that popular at all. Like, that's my general stance on this thing. But,
A-
um,
And just AEW just booking in general. I mean, you'll talk about it a little bit more, but I don't know what they I just don't know. Like
the
what
the
are they doing
way
over there?
the way that I'm gonna explain this is about to make your head spin, but my runner up is Adam Cole returning as a babyface slash MJF heel turn, AEW attempting to explain this at all, slash the Death Riders feud in general. And it's for our number one to be what it is, and for them to skirt past this year
Yeah.
with with like generally like no impunity in terms of like what's going on, like it says a lot
Just
that
know they occupy like spots 2 through 10. You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
like if like and that just shows you just how fragile this type of category is, right? Like
Yeah.
it could be one thing that could ruin your whole year, and AEW has a resounding amount. But I think that WWE's confusing decision could have tanked the company. Like they
Yeah.
literally could have tanked everything when you get down to it. Like
AEW
obviously,
could have won again.
yeah, AEW could have won again if they did what they did. Nobody, and I mean nobody, wanted to see The Rock versus Roman Reigns this year.
Well, people did, but they're stupid.
They well, here's the okay. Let me stop. They would have wanted to see it if it didn't stop Cody from finishing the story.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
feel as though, and like I said before, you can do whatever the fuck you want after he finishes the story. You can have 8 million Rock versus Roman Reigns matches, but you can't take this away from him this year. And
Absolutely.
they almost did that.
Well,
And then
explain to me this Adam Cole MJF feud.
okay, all right. So Adam Cole and MJF became enemies turned friends last year.
Yeah.
And they became best friends, and the whole story was will Adam Cole or will MJF turn on Adam Cole? So they created a character called the Devil who would interrupt matches and say, "Hey, I know the truth about you, MJF. I'm really a bad guy." And he would just show up intermittently and beat, and it would be people in masks, and they beat people up, but like no one would ever really question what it was, and they just would pop in every now and again. In between then, Adam Cole hurts himself by jumping off of the ramp of the ring and breaking his foot. Um, but that's after he and MJF have a match for the AEW World Title at the biggest show they've ever had at All In Wembley.
They were also
So
ROH tag team champions for
they were
whatever
also
reason.
ROH Tag Team Champions, and MJF definitely beat two niggas by himself while he was the ROH Tag Team Champions by himself. So that definitely happened as well. He also beat up Jay White and embarrassed him also. Um, at World's End last year, MJF lost the title to Samoa Joe, who was being paid off by the devil. And it was revealed that the devil was Adam Cole, who then beat the shit out of MJF, and MJF disappeared for mad long. So it
Yeah.
takes months because MJF is injured. He injures his shoulder. So Adam Cole has to do this whole act by himself for like 6 months.
But he's
Uh,
also injured, by the way.
but he's also injured. Yes, he also is not on the show. So uh MJF eventually comes back very tan and looking like Triple H and he is a babyface still, and people are loving it. And he beats up Adam Cole, and Adam Cole disappears from TV again. And the group that he's with, they just break off and just do whatever the fuck, right? So you still with me?
Wardlow, who's part of the group, is just not.
Yeah,
Just
Wardlow is
disappears.
gone. Also, he just disappears as well. You're right. So like that happens, right? And so when that happens, right? Where was I? What happened?
MJF
No, wait.
returns.
MJF returns, and then MJF gets jealous of Daniel Garcia liking Will Osprey, and he turns heel again, even though we got to finish the other story. But they was like, no, he got to be heel now, so we're gonna turn him heel, and he's gonna face Will Osprey. And Adam Cole returns healthy again, and he's a babyface. And you want to know why he's a babyface? I don't know why he's a babyface because they never explain why he's a good guy again. And he's trying to tell us that MJF was always the bad guy, even though MJF's
He was
already
a
a
bad
bad
guy,
guy.
and he was
and,
also a bad guy.
and he was a bad guy too, but they're not explaining it. And so these two have been trying to like fight for 3 months now. And MJF said, "You got to fight three people to fight me." And Kyle O'Reilly's like, "No, you can't do that. MJF is the dangerous guy. He'll kill you."
Well, first of all,
And
Adam Cole, he says Adam Cole he says between him and Roderick Strong, one of y'all got to get 3 wins before you beat me. And Adam
yeah,
Cole, who's been in the feud for the last 8 months, and Roderick Strong, who hasn't. Adam Cole
it's
loses the challenge.
to Roger Strong, and yeah, and so like that happens, and uh they win the Dynamite battle royal thing, and Adam Cole wins it, and he's gonna face MJF, and so that's been the year of this feud, and
You know, it's
it's
really been a full circle feud that extended from last year's World End to this one, and we're just so very proud of everything that's been happening, and we want to see this feud culminate. And
it's great, it's great, it's great. We love
that's what
it.
I assume would be the press thing tomorrow or the day after.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Thanks guys.
Thanks,
Thanks
Quan.
guys. Thanks
Um,
Quan. Thanks Quan.
the Death Riders feud is also confusing, just
Oh,
because.
the Death Riders feud is so, John Moxley, who became a bad guy, I can't even call
Well,
why
I'll
he turned
explain.
him.
This is how I've interpreted the Death Riders feud.
Okay.
Brian Danielson wins the AEW championship, and his friends are completely cool with it.
Yes.
At some point, they go to the they have this pay per view called Grand Slam or something or whatever it is,
Yep.
and Darby Allin wins this Rampage Rumble to get a no. It wasn't at Grand Slam. It was like all whatever. It was a
It was
whatever
some
this thing.
show. It was like
Yeah,
one of
some
the weekly
show.
shows.
He wins this Rumble to win a title shot. But then John Moxley comes back and says, "Hey, I actually want that title shot." And Darby Allin's like, "Okay, I'm gonna give you this title shot on the show that I was supposed to get the title shot on." And Brian Danielson will just wrestle Kazuchika Okada for whatever fucking reason.
No, he wrestled Nigel McGuinness, remember?
Oh yeah, yeah, Nigel McGuinness. Because yeah. So Darby loses the title shot to John Moxley for whatever reason.
Yes.
Brian beats Nigel McGuinness for whatever
Mhm.
reason.
Yeah, and he says, "Thank you for beating me,"
Right.
for some reason. Yes.
Then they go to the pay-per-view
Uh-huh.
and Moxley wins the title. Well, they turn on at some point they turn on Brian at
Yes.
one of the pay-per-views beforehand. It was the one where he faced some ridiculous. Oh, he faced what's that little furry guy name? Um
Beast Mortos?
no, 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 no.
Oh,
The
wrong guy?
Jack Perry. He faced
Okay,
Jack
yeah,
Perry.
wrong guy.
He faced Jack Perry at All Out. Um and they turn on him there, and they put a bag over his head and everything.
Try to kill
Try to
him.
kill him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brian's presumed dead, but not really dead. But he still got the title shot for the next pay per
Do
view.
we
So
know
then
why Moxley's doing any of this?
he wants to see AEW change because everyone is so thing with themselves and contracts and bad movies is why he's doing what he's doing.
Oh, no,
Bad
man.
interpretations of movies. So he goes to whatever Wrestle Dream, or no, this isn't Wrestle Dream, is it? Whatever pay-per-view they have. They got so many at this point,
My
and he
head hurts.
beats him. He beats Bryan Danielson, and now they wage war on the company on a weekly basis where they're starting fighting niggas in parking lots and getting
Where
beat
no
up by
one
Marina Shafir.
where clearly the owner of the company is still booking matches, but is refusing to say anything about what is
Yeah.
going on in his company,
Well,
or reprimand anyone for what they're doing. So,
for
like, don't forget that part.
multiple attempts of murder, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, now we just got the Death Riders thing, which also isn't working. So wonder how long this will last.
That and you know what? That is the year in AEW in a fucking nutshell. Uh, thank you guys for listening to this first part of our year end list. I hope it was as riveting and insightful for you guys who don't know what's going on with AEW as it was for us trying to explain it.
Yes.
Uh, so until next time, until next week, I want you guys to have a fantastic Christmas. If you're listening to this on Patreon the day before, if you're listening to it the day of, Merry Christmas. If you're listening to it the day after, Happy belated Christmas. Hope you guys have a great week. We'll be back next week with the finale of our year end list for 2024. For Meelz, I am Justin. We'll see you guys next week. Have be
Merry
safe
Christmas.
and Merry Christmas. Thanks, guys. Peace.